Bhagavatam Naram Chaiva Naratamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiraye Srinvatam Sokatha Krishna Punya Sravana Kirtanaha Hridayantastaya Vadani Vidunati Surisatam Nashtaprayesu Avatesu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktiri Bhaviti Naistiki Mukam Karati Vachalam Pangu Langhayate Kirimyatki Patamam Bande Paramananda Madhavam Sri Gurudinatayanam, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Iswaram. So, Hare Krishna everyone. Today's chapter, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 1, and Text 1. And this is the first sloka of the first chapter of the Canto 4. And this particular chapter is called the genealogical table of daughters of Manu, Swayambhu Manu. Maitreya Manastu Satarupayam Saha Kanyasya Jagnire Akute Devahutisha Prasuti Iti Vishutaha Maitrevacha Manastu Satarupayam Tisaha Kanyasya Jagnire Akute Devahutisha Prasuti Iti Vishutaha Maitrevacha Manastu Satarupayam Tissaha Kanyasya Jagnire Akuti Devahutisha Prasati Iti Vishutaha. Translation by Divine Grace, La Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sri Maitreya said, Swayambhu Manu begot 3 daughters in his wife Satarupa, and their names were Akuti, Devahuti, and Prasuti. Purport. First of all, let us offer our respectful obeisances unto our spiritual master. Om Vishnupada Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada, by whose order I am engaged in this Herculean task of writing commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam as the Bhakti Vedanta purports. By His grace, we have finished 3 cantos already, and we are just trying to begin in 4th canto. By His divine grace, let us offer our respectful obeisances unto Lord Chaitanya, who began this Krishna consciousness movement of Bhagavad Dharma 500 years ago. And through His grace, let us offer our obeisances to 6 Goswamis. And then let us offer our obeisances to Radha and Krishna, the spiritual couple who enlist eternally in Vrindavan with their cowherd boys and themselves in Brajavani. Let us also offer our respectful obeisances to all the devotees and the eternal servitor of the Supreme Lord. In this 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, basically there are 31 chapters, and all these chapters describe the secondary creation by Brahma and the Manus. The Supreme Lord Himself does the real creation by agitating this His material energy, and then by His order, Brahma, the fast living creature in the universe, attempts to create the different planetary system and their inhabitants, expanding the population through his progeny like Manu and other progenitor of living entities who work perpetually under the order of the Supreme Lord. In the first chapter of this 4th canto, there are descriptions of the 3 daughters of Swayambhu Manu and their descendants. The next 6th chapter describes the sacrifice performed by King Daksha and how it was spoiled. Thereafter, the activities of Maharaj Dhruva are described in 5 chapters. Then in 11 chapters, the activities of King Prithu are described. The next 8 chapters are devoted to the activities of the Pracheta king. As described in the first verse of this chapter, Swayambhu Manu and 3 daughters named Akuti, Devahuti, and Prasuti. Of these 3 daughters, one daughter Devahuti has already been described along with her husband Kardama Muni and her son Kapila Muni. In this chapter, the descendant of the first daughter Akuti will specifically be described. Swayambhu Manu was the son of Brahma. Brahma had many other sons, but Manu's name is specifically mentioned first because he was a great devotee of the Lord. In this verse, there is also the word cha. Cha means cha indicating that cha indicating that besides the three daughters mentioned, Swayambhu Manu had two sons. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Simate Vedanta Swami Tidamina Namaste Saraswati Gaurabani Pachadini Nilisada Sunnavadi Pasarada Satayini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivas Adi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. And thanks everyone for joining and giving this the opportunity to speak on this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. And so as we discussed, this is the fourth canto and the first chapter. The basically is this is called the genealogical table of daughters of Manu. So as you know, so if I give a little bit background about the Manu, basically, so the Manus, they are the progenitor of the human society, right? Manu means basically Manav, right? So he becomes name of the Manusya or Manav, or you can say that man, because since we are descendant of Manu, so in English we call man, in Hindi we call Manav, and it's a Manusya. But that came from the Manu. So because Manu is our, you can say our father. So we are a descendant of the Manus. So so Manus in the one day of Brahma, so Brahma lives 100 years, and in one day of Brahma, so there will be the 14 Manus, and so and each Manvantara is so the lifespan of Manu is called Manvantara, right? So the so if you say like for example, you have Satyug, Dwapara, Satyug, Tretayug, and the Dwapara and Kali, right? So that's called 4 yuga. So if you complete one 4 yuga, that is one basically one Mahayuga, right? And the short 71 Mahayugas, it becomes one Manvantar, right? Manvantar. So that is the lifespan of the one Manu. And similarly, that will be the 14 Manvantar in the one Kalpa or one day of Lord Brahma. So basically, one day of Lord Brahma is known as one Kalpa, right? And 71 Mahayugas, also known as one Manvantar. So like that, right? So we can understand the Manu's lifespan in as per the human calculation, it will kind of millions of years, okay, for one lifespan of one Manu. So similarly, in a day of Lord Brahma, there will be 14 Manus. So we are talking about right now, the Manu is Swayambhu Manu, right? Swayambhu Manu is the first Manu in the out of 14. The first one is 14, Swayambhu Manu. The second one, second Manu was Saras Chisya Manu. Then Uttama Manu, Tapasya Manu, and Raivasat Manu, Chakshusa Manu, and Vaivasat Manu. Vaivasat Manu, currently we are, the period we are living right now, the ruler of this, the universe, the entire universe is called Vaivasat Manu. Okay. And in this particular Vaivasat Manu, because he is Manvanatar, so there will be Lord Vishnu appears in a different incarnation in each and every Manvantara. Okay, so like for example, in the in the Swayambhu Manu period, who was the avatar of the Lord Vishnu? It was Yajna. Okay, so Yajna was the avatar of the period of Swayambhu Manu. And similarly, in the current Manvantara, okay, so we are living on that. That's called the ruler is Vaivasat Manu, and who appears in this incarnation? It's called Lord Vamandev. Okay, so Lord Vamandev also appeared in the in this Manvantara. Okay, we can understand that. So there are, I explained about 7 Manu. There are around another 7 Manus also there. Okay, so and so right now we are specifically talking about Swayambhu Manu, and so in this chapter it is described. there are three daughters of Swayambhuva Manu, and apart from three daughters, he has two sons, right? So the daughters' name was like Akuti, Prasuti, and Devahuti. So we already explained about the characteristics of Kardama Muni, and then Lord Kapil Dev explained the Sankhya philosophy, right? So and then it was mentioned the Swayambhuva Manu had two sons. The name of the son was Priyavarta and Uttanapad, right? And who was Uttanapad? Uttanapad is the father of Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, right? So similarly, if you see in his dynasty, in his descendants, that will be so like, and for example, let's say Uttanapad, so then Dhruva Maharaj will become, then from the Dhruva Maharaj, then the Pruthu Maharaj will become, from the Pruthu Maharaj, then Prachetas will become, and from the Prachetas and the Daksha will become. Okay, so this is the just remember this one. So Swayambhuva Manu came, right? So then his wife was Satarupa, and so out of these two sons, Priyabhata and Uttanapad, so this is what the fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam going to explain. What we're going to explain? First is going to explain about the activities of Maharaj Dhruv, okay? The greatest devotee of the Lord, okay? And the second, we're going to, in this fourth canto, we're going to learn about Prithu Maharaj, okay? And who is Prithu Maharaj? He's in the same lineage of the Dhruva Maharaj. And then we're going to learn about the Prachetas, okay? And the Prachetas, then who is the son of the Prachetas? Daksha, okay? So then we are going to learn about the Daksha. And then Puranjana. Puranjana means, the city of nine gates, right? You already heard about the pastimes of the city of nine gates. So that's the story of the Puranjana. So we'll learn about, mostly this is summary of the things we're going to learn in the fourth canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. So this present Manu, under whom we are now living within this universe, he is the son of Sun God, right? Vivasan. So in Krishna Bhagavad Gita, he explained that he first instructed the Bhagavad Gita to the Sun God, and then Sun God he's explained to his son Manu, right? Vivasan, and then Vivasan then he explained to his son Ishwaku, right? So that's the lineage. And if you know who is Maharaj Ishwaku, because in the same Maharaj Ishwaku, Lord Ramachandra appeared, right, in his dynasty. So that's why Ramachandra, Lord Ramachandra belongs to the Suryavanshi, right? He becomes Suryavanshi, right? Because he appears in the dynasty of the Ishwaku. Okay, and so in this fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there are 31 chapters, and all like this is the Prabhupada mentioned, and all the chapters describe the secondary creation by Brahma and the Manu. So as you know, Brahma and Brahma has never been a first creator, okay? So Brahma has always been a secondary creator. Secondary creator, what does mean by secondary creator is that because the Supreme Personality of Godhead is created the universe, the Brahman. After creating the Brahman, from the Garbhodaka, from the Garbhodaka Vishnu, Brahma, the lotus flower becomes, and so from that lotus, Lord Brahma appeared, right? And the Brahmas only, what is that? It will give a shape. For example, we are living beings. We are human beings. We will have two hands, two legs, and one head. So just imagine. So that's our structure. So Brahma's responsibility is it has to create such kind of jivas. Okay, but but all other the creations, like you can just say that the Panchamahabhuta and everything, it is created by the Supreme Personality of God, the Brahman. So Brahma is always considered the secondary creator. Okay, and he got the powers to create by the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, so Brahma is not at all independent God. He is dependent completely on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, so in the first chapter of this fourth canto, there are descriptions of the three daughters, Swayambhuva Manu and their descendants. The next six chapters describe the sacrifice performed by King Daksha and how it was spoiled. Thereafter, the activities of Maharaj Dhruva are described in the 5 chapters. Then in the 11 chapters, the activities of King Prithu are described. And the next 8 chapters are devoted to the activities of Prachada king. That's the what. And so Swayambhu Manu, so as you explained, discussed, Swayambhu Manu had three daughters, Akuti, Devahuti, and Prasuti, right? So we already discussed about in the Canto 3 of the activities of Devahuti. And so in this particular fourth canto, we are we are going to describe about the activities of the Akuti. Okay. And so if you look in the fourth canto in a summary wise, basically, as it described the activities of the Daksha Prajapati, Dhruva Maharaj, King Prithu, and Prachitas. So, in the third canto, it's basically described there are four types of bhakti. Okay, so the bhakti, one bhakti is called tamasic bhakti, like devotion in ignorance. Okay, and one is called rajasic bhakti, the devotion in passions. And the third one is called the sattvic bhakti, that's called devotion in goodness. And then the last bhakti is called Suddha bhakti. Okay, so that's called pure devotional service. Okay, so there are four types of devotion, bhakti, have been described by Lord Kapil Dev, and how this fourth chapter is aligned to the four kinds of bhakti. Okay, for example, Daksha Prajapati, what kind of bhakti he performed? Prajapati performed the the Tamasika bhakti. That's called devotion in ignorance. That's called Tamasika bhakti, performed by Daksha Prajapati. Okay, and the Dhruva Maharaj performed Rajasika bhakti. Okay, the devotion Rajasic Bhakti. And so then King Prithu performed the Sattvic Bhakti, Sattvic, okay. And the Prachetas, they performed the Suddha Bhakti, the pure devotional service. That's what we're going to describe about in the fourth canto, each and every chapters. So here, if you give little background, so King Daksha performed Tamasika Bhakti because he could not tolerate someone. What is the activities? Or you can see a person is in the Tamasika Bhakti, or in the devotion in ignorance. How to understand that person? What is the nature of that such person? Bhagavatam says, such persons he could not tolerate someone's success, and the enviousness in nature, that is the person, the nature of that person, and thinking that I am the greatest devotee, no one is equal to me, everything is under my control. Okay, and that's what happened when Lord Shiva came, for the marriage of Sati, or Parvati, or sorry, that time is Sati, the latter one. So what happened? so Daksha Prajapati, he could not stand up because he was thinking, oh, who is Lord Shiva? Oh, he is my just son-in-law. He's a kind of junior devotee, because he does not give respect to a greatest Vaishnava, right? Because his devotion was in the mode of ignorance. Okay, Tamasika Bhakti. That's what he he was thinking that, okay, what's the post of Lord Shiva? He just live in the graveyard, and he did this offense to a greatest Vaishnava, and we know then later on he was beheaded by Lord Shiva. And what happened? After he got beheaded in the in the fifth Manmantar, like in the fifth Manmantar, he did severe austerity, and again the same Daksha or Prajapati post was again given by him by Lord Shiva. Okay, that's the that's the Tamasika Bhakti. And then Dhruva Maharaj Bhakti was like Rajasic, because his intention to have better kingdom than Lord Brahma, being insulted by sharp words spoken by the co-wife or his stepmother. That's why he got agitated and he went to the forest to perform the austerities. And while going to the forest, because he didn't know, he just know because his mother mentioned that, okay, you the only person in this whole creation who can satisfy you or who can give you the benedictions to have a better kingdom, better place, only the Lord Hari. So you just go out and find the Lord Hari. So he just know Lord Hari, but he doesn't know how to perform bhakti on the Lord Hari. So the initial intention was the Rajasic, how to get prosperity, how to get fame. Okay, that's what his that's his intention. So that's why Dhruva Bhakti also considered Rajasic Bhakti. But what happened after he met Narada Muni, and Narada Muni gave him the mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. That's the mantra he was performing austerities, right? So what happened? So as you know, within 6 months, he was able to see the Lord face to face. After seeing the Lord face to face, all of his desire, internal desire, everything got vanished. He was kind of placed in the Sudha Bhakti position. And that time he offered the Lord, Lord, I don't want anything since I have seen you. So once Lord put, his hand on the head of Dhruva Maharaj. So Dhruva Maharaj, he got enlightened and he got then he started offering prayers. And if you look at the prayers, he mentioned that, Lord, I don't want anything. I just want to completely surrender at the lotus feet. I just want to serve the Lord. Okay. That's the only intention. But still, Lord gave him the Dhruva planet, and as you know, the Dhruva planet is nothing but it's called the Vaikuntha planet, right? So, you heard about Shetadip. So, Shetadip, what is that? Lord Vishnu lies there in this metal wall. So, that is a spiritual planet, Vaikuntha. So, but in this metal wall also, that is another Vaikuntha. That's called Shetadip. So in the part of Shetadip is called, some part of Shetadip is called Dhruvalok. And so one part, Lord Vishnu lives, and that Shetadip also in the Dhruva planet. So Lord Dhruva also lives there. And anyways, that's in the material world, but it's never annihilated. That's the Dhruva. That's the pastimes of the Dhruva. And I'll just quickly cover two pastimes, and then I'll wrap it up. So, so then we're talking about that in the same dynasty of Dhruva Maharaj, right? Who came? King Pruthu. Okay, and who was the King Pruthu? So King, basically, this is what we're going to describe in the future chapters of the Srimad Bhagavatam. King Pruthu, basically, he was the greatest devotee, and while he was performing the Ashwamedha Yajna, and so, like in that yajna also, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, he was itself present there. And because his devotion, the Prithu Maharaj devotion, is I mentioned, it's called Sattvic Bhakti, is devotion in mode of goodness. So he was the greatest devotee of the Lord. And just imagine, in his sacrifice, Lord Vishnu itself present. But what happened? When he performed the 99 sacrifice, the horse sacrifices, if he performed 100 sacrifices, he could get a position of Lord Indra as per the Vedic rules. But Lord Indra is so envious about the sacrifices. And what he did, he tried to steal the horses who are supposed to be sacrificed in the 100 or some of the yajna. But then in the first time he steal it, and then the son of the Prithu Maharaj get it back. Then again he steal, then continue stealing, continue. He just process, he continue the same cheating processes. So then eventually, then Lord Brahma and eventually Prithu Maharaj wants to kill Lord Indra, but Lord Brahma came so and pacifying. Okay, don't kill him, because he is, he's the king of the heaven, and he is equals to, almost equals to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because he has many demigods he's controlling all about. So that's why Prithu Maharaj, gave up all his idea to perform the hundreds Samedha Yajna and to get a post of King Indra. Instead, Lord Rama said that since you are a devotee of the Lord, why should you are looking for a kind of insignificant post, Lord Indra? You can just perform the austerities, and by end of the life, you can go back into the Godhead. The same thing happened to the Prithu Maharaj. By the end of his life, he go back into the Godhead by just meditating on the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, we have to learn this story, and the same story as Prachetas, the descendants same as the dynasty came from the Prithu Maharaj. Same Prachetas. First of all, they their father asked to create the progeny and the progeny of the human societies, and but they performed the austerities. While performing the austerities, they first met Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva gave them mantra and how to satisfy Lord Vishnu. So that's what they did. So they performed severe austerities to perform to satisfy Lord Vishnu, and that's why they performed 10,000. They performed austerities for 10,000 years. Okay, under the water by the grace of Lord Shiva, and eventually they are met, Lord Vishnu face to face. After seeing the Lord Vishnu face to face, they are all of the sacrifices they performed so far is they got satisfied. And that's why Lord Vishnu gave him the benedictions. That's the story of Prachetas. And Prachetas belongs to the Suddha Bhakti, the pure devotional service. Okay. So with this note, it's 6:04 now. So thanks